Hello everyone, this is Solaris BlueRaven. This information that I'm about to present was presented by me at the Super Soldier Summit this past May in 2013. Yeah, this was my presentation as a test pilot for Covert technology and as an expert presenter. I want to relay this data because first of all, it has not been distributed accordingly, and I want to make sure people hear what I had to say, which was extremely significant insofar as the technology itself and how it works. So with that being said, this is for the 2013 Summit on Covert Assault Weapons. I was the test pilot for Covert Technologies, and I also cover solutions to tactical assault projects. Okay, so hello everyone, I'm Solaris BlueRaven. For those of you who do not know me, I was a test pilot and lab rat for a Covert Tactical Assault project, which I was inducted into in 2004. I'm a published author, producer, and systems buster for MKUltra-related programs. I'm also a modified AI to some degree, remote viewer, and natural clairvoyant. The Covert Tactical Assault consists of psychotronic warfare programs, pattern recognition, color and code recognition, synthetic telepathy, and psychic driving, both with a live handler in real time and then with machine interface. There was a satellite-driven remote influence regarding my physical body, which included attacks when I did not comply with my handler's request. I was interfaced with machine technology in a covert underground area for almost 10 years, 24/7. There are many levels to psychotronic programming. Each target has a unique code and signature template, which consists of not only their personal identification transmission frequency, yet the modified handler's signature as well. There is a blend of data transference, code, and signal enhancement, all to be compiled and stored in a black box underground of which no division questions. You may ask, how did I get through it? I got through it by remaining strong in my mind, character, and spiritual design. I am a certified black belt and instructor and was an established instructor before my induction. I trained my mind to override the programming. I stayed positive, opposed to negative, and executed my power by writing books, documenting the technology, researching covert technology, and experimenting with zero-point energy to come up with solutions to the equation and matrix which was presented to me. There are many levels to this matrix, over 200 plus or minus. I imagine more. I managed to make it to the other side. Each word is a program in life, whether one is plugged into the matrix or not. It is how you use the data you acquire without emotional imprinting, which can lead to confusion on behalf of a target. A target needs to learn how to stalk and shadow oneself regarding behavior and personality traits. Remain as a sacred witness and observe the programs running for what they are without an emotional, physical, and spiritual attachment. This takes a huge amount of personal will and mental discipline. You may ask, what is left after such an induction? I had to rebuild my life again from ground zero up. Some targets have to retrain their minds to speak, as some of the interface can leave them with something of an AI imprint. They will need to delete false matrices and programs, which include screen memories. And so far as databases go, the interface is stored in an underground area with advanced computer technology. Even the death experience is mapped and collected as an archive for the underground. Templates are also collected. One thing I have observed from other targets is a somewhat scattered mindset insofar as not being able to differentiate between what is a program running and what is a valid memory. I can tell you they are all programs. It is not about the experience of visual and audio, more about the type of program being run and interfaced with the target itself. For me, I knew I was dealing with technology. I knew I was in the matrix, and I knew who my handlers were, which made it more grounding insofar as understanding this was an abuse of power and science. I stayed positive and hopeful in thinking how wonderful this technology could be in the future. To heal illnesses, cure the blind or autistic. The dark side is it is a weapon of war and manipulation. I do know this technology can be used for covert communications as well as blackcraft remote piloting, just to give an example. The holographic mind, when calibrated to the digital world, can do incredible things. The symbiotic relationship between a subject and a covert AI-oriented communication system can be a miracle design when used with wisdom. They work off the energy of each other. The very life force itself, which is a zero-point transmission and frequency, a symbiotic and sentient relationship, which is indeed an intricate fabric. Sad to say, many lives have been destroyed by the misuse of this tactical hardware. Minds who were brilliant, creative, and beyond the false matrix of mankind. I owe it to all those beings and myself to come up with a positive solution and not a negative perspective of the event. I am through the hells and have been through the hells of a man-made fire, and like the phoenix, I have become reborn into another design on this timeline. To simply put it, I knew what it meant to die alive. I watched my life go before my eyes with mock communications and voices of the dead, which they mapped in order to lull me into a vulnerable space of consciousness for control purposes. Now I awake and say, okay, let's solve the mystery and confront the puzzle. The solution, which is 1. High vibrational frequency is a cure. 0-point transmissions calibrate the signal to a higher light octave which can be workable for the subject. Maintaining a core consciousness on that level is a resolution. Redirecting the connections and calibrating the circuitry is a cure. There is always a solution to the equation and, inevitably, a backdoor. You can block attacks on an exterior level to some degree, yet it comes down to your own internal universal compass and programming. What you believe is what they will present. The mind can react like a holodeck as this planet, so be careful how you program your thoughts in your mind. Navigate from the source energy in the universe and you will have clarity. I have anomaly signatures beyond implants which were measured by Steve Colburn back in 2011. These anomalies are hardwired into my neural circuitry. They interface with all types of frequencies, transmissions, and covert communications systems. I have this data available on my DVD documentary called Eye of the Remote, a disclosure of covert technology, which is available for purchase here. Actually, it's purchased on Amazon.com. It was available at the summit. And of course, I was the producer to that. We do have scientific evidence and validation that some of these implants, which have been retrieved from test subjects, register a deep space signal, while others measure air traffic control and government radio band communications. This is not an ET, yet a covert technology creating mock radio signals to piggyback off of the natural wave of the target. This goes for universal wave signatures as they mimic signals and interface it onto their communications system. For more information, I will suggest researching Dr. Roger Lear, Dr. Kuntz, and Steve Colburn, who is the chief scientist for alien technology research. Some of these signals use a high-frequency transmission along with a low-frequency transmission to cloak the signal, much of which is encrypted and almost impossible to crack. They do a lot of piggybacking onto radio signals, which includes the electromagnetic field, which is a transmitter and receiver and a natural antenna. I have several books published on this technology, along with my experience as a test pilot lab rat, one of which is Eye of the Remote, Black Operations in Areas Beyond 52, which I published in 2008, and my recent release, Programmed by Deception, Eye of the Remote Series 2, the sequel, both of which are available on Amazon.com and my publisher, Author House Books. I highly suggest you pick up a copy, as the data in these books is priceless and uncensored. These days I have become master control and the programmer. We manifest at will any reality which includes what we wish to participate with. This includes the induction experience of a target. Most targets get traumatized in the beginning due to the overload interface. Once the interface is calibrated, the programs are changeable. I am aware there is an underground which has taken the template of biblical law and revelations and used this template to create a mock revelations, hence be aware of this. Not all is as it appears. There is a psychotronic deception mind game going on, and everybody is a player, whether they are a target or not. I do want to thank Dr. Robert Duncan for his exposure of the technology, which validates the facts insofar as this is no boogeyman, ET, demon, or God. It is the game of man, which has been played very well out indeed. It is a game designed to turn each other against by belief systems alone. It can empower and reboot a soldier in a battlefield, making him immune to trauma and disease, or cripple a target into a forced suicide by psychotronic driving. The door goes both ways. I do know you can take the helm and steer. You can reprogram and learn how to ride the beast through the waves of the false matrix, which is something I did. Let me conclude, this technology can be purchased on the black market. It is no longer just covert intelligence departments who are deploying it. It has become a global disease. I'm a test pilot in a sense they ran me through programs they would have run on their own personnel. I took notes, documented, and presented the data accordingly through my books with clarity. One has to see everything in life as a program, from sensation to the illusion of an experience, which may feel very real to your being. The constant in any universe is energy in motion. The universe is composed of intelligent energy. Our cells and atoms are composed of this intelligent energy with no boundaries, as all of the answers are within. Information is activated by vibration and frequency, the music of the spheres. Even when the machine interface, I am convinced the celestial mechanics of the universe are indeed ascended machine technology based on pure consciousness and energy, the true source. One of the keys to the solution of these projects, as I said before, is using high-frequency instruments containing a zero-point transmission to raise a target's vibratory rate to disengage the low-frequency control transmissions and mechanisms. In other words, we give them something to chew on, scramble, and shift the atomic spin to a higher octave than what the target is currently experiencing. And this also goes for electrons too, by the way, spinning the electron on a higher frequency. No one should have to be at the mercy of a misuse of technology. The reason this is easy for me is I was teaching DNA activation before I was tagged with the project back in 2004. I know universal harmonics and mechanics opposed to man's mock version in a virtual machine. Tesla coils, photon sound beam, radionics rife, all are useful tools in the redirection and subtle broadcasting of the attack. Knowing thyself is also a key in repairing the holographic grid and mind. Know thyself and heal thyself. Thoughts can manifest as a disease. Keep this in mind. The very program of mankind is toxic. His belief systems have become based on lies and censorship and a false matrix since the beginning of man-made time. Mankind has been deceived since the moment of a conceived birth in the illusion of the false matrix. I do not believe in free shots. I am aware there is a universal law which creates a balance mankind is somewhat oblivious to. If we see our embodiments outside the vessel we reside in, one begins to understand we are merged with the universal hive mind, which is infinite and unlimited, regardless of what one might experience on this planet or timeline. I am aware my anomaly signatures are always transmitting and active, which alerts me to the fact they can be controlled and upgraded by me. The black box will archive the information, but yet it is a program within a program. One thing I am also clear on, we have brilliant-minded scientists on this earth which, with our support, can flip the switch for a better world, which is based on unlimited consciousness and freedom. So as they say, on your feet, soldiers, a true reminder of the American people and all people across the globe, who are the front lines to our independence and are the true militia creating a new world and frontier. The universe is our celestial birthright and heritage, which no one has the right to interfere with. No one has the right to stop you from evolving on any dimension, in any plane or form. I have anomaly signatures which interact with sounds and bounce to music on the radio, which have I've been calibrated now. This has been going on for 10 years, so those signals are pretty much integrated. Covert intelligence areas use mock radio wave signals which tag the electromagnetic field and neural circuitry on a target and interface it onto a communication system in an underground area with a live handler agent in real time. This technological interface is called synthetic telepathy. The interface, which consists of a mind-hacked supercomputer, is capable of mind-mapping the brain template, mimicking dialogue, and interacting in various ways such as visual sounds, words, and manipulation of motor skills, which are all done by remote. These stalking assault projects tag their target of choice and are driven by remote satellite. This technique is used when targeting a test subject. It can also be done by local covert areas as well as underground bases and intelligence areas. Zero-point signal waves. Once again, the zero-point transmission wave is based on extraterrestrial data and not a man-made covert creations. Covert areas map this force and interface it onto a target. As with me, I had reached a 0 point before they tagged me in 2004 because my Merkaba was established, which made it easier for them to basically tag it and establish a communications link. As of recent, there are new technologies on the horizon which can attack a target by remote and neutralize the being at a distance. With any type of implant or signal, fighter or drone pilots are able to track and map the signal, lock in on it in the coordinate, and destroy their target. This is the war of the future if we do not put a stop to it. And of course, an abuse of power, to say the least. Okay, a little history about us. What and who are we? Non-human celestial beings is what we are. Our DNA is celestial in design and activates through higher consciousness, vibration, speed, and celestial and universal osmosis. We are mutating to higher levels of light body design, which eventually shifts into Merkaba, multidimensional vehicle of light, which is internal zero-point transmission. This 0 point allows us to draw on the universal archives and source to further mutate our DNA to a point we are the celestial beings we are designed to be, which includes the ability to bilocate, teleport, and phase shift to any universal sector at will. This also includes synthetic telepathy, by the way, which isn't synthetic, it's higher consciousness telepathy. Our life is based on sacred geometry. This design has been everywhere, yet remains cloaked to some degree in one's DNA. It too is encrypted and not easy to read, break, or access due to the creator program. More solutions. Scramble the signal. Exterior devices can scramble the signature, treat it as a motherboard, reroute the signal, where a device which redirects the signal and traps the transmission in a black box design. 0 point transmission, in addition to high vibrational frequencies, can alter the atomic spin and shift the signal. Experimenting with harmonic frequencies to see how the body responds is a good idea, as each target will have a resonance with a different frequency and code. The goal is to change the signature and alter the signal by changing the vibration and speed. Surgery, a possibility yet not recommended due to the intricate detail of the nanodevices which adapt and embed onto a subject. And this is not the kind of surgery for a regular Western surgeon, obviously. You cannot go to Western surgeons for this type of technology. You have to treat it differently. A more drastic approach would be a scientifically developed EMP blast to disable the mechanisms. Of course, that's very drastic. I have been told by various scientists this does not affect the well-being of the target, yet personally I am not convinced and do not recommend this. According to several professional sources, some say it can work, as I said before, but I would say no. I do know the Ghost program can be rewritten. Anything can get upgraded and modified, and never underestimate the power of the superconscious mind. I am not convinced. Okay, I'm switching gears here. Okay. I know the intricate wiring in the body and how the technology adapts onto the nerves and cells. What test subjects need to realize is even though they have additional devices or implants, they as a consciousness and or soul spirit will still reside in the vessel. They are the landlords and need to set boundaries and rules which teach the programs how to comply. If these signals are satellite driven, which some are, then they can be destroyed when the satellite is destroyed. Most of these satellites have black box data buried in underground bases, which means there is a backup system, yet it is my sense that backup system has a delay time long enough for the target to permanently escape the tracking signal. Metals are another form of deflection which could be of assistance in debugging the body. Developing a suit of metal is perhaps a drastic measure, yet I see it like an alien visitor with a silver metal suit. They use these suits to block signals, as they are highly telepathic, hence something to ponder. And materials are important. Also, monoatomic gold, and those are really good for smoothing out the neural circuitry. How do you get out of the false matrix? You opt out. There is a subhuman class attempting to clone and copy brain templates to be stored in an underground area. These templates are based on conscious and subconscious brainwave mapping, yet are not based on consciousness. The soul is the firewall beyond any type of psychotronic assault or mind hack. I can guarantee that. While the covert subhuman class has spent decades mapping and attacking innocent targets' brainwaves, the universe has been downloading true celestial archives of data which cannot be read by their mind hackers or so-called advanced communication systems operators or anyone in underground areas. Insofar as precogs go, if they could really see the future, they would not have misused the technology to begin with. They have zero connection to the source beyond the source. They are a byproduct of their false belief systems, which is nothing but a cancer and disease to any species. This planet is a sentient intelligence. They have and are not able to read this ascended machine design which speaks to other planets beyond the known universe. Once again, their own mental conditioning and brainwashing has limited their evolution. They are extinct yet do not realize it. One thing to be said, before all these war game-oriented intelligence thugs, there was a species of which used natural telepathy. Every bit of information they have acquired is due to the mapping of true clairvoyant minds who operate beyond the linear deception of mankind. Hence, these units are not powerful. They are nothing but copycats competing against a universe of which they are not part of by choice. They have not developed anything special. They have been attacking and assaulting the minds of targets to acquire their data, which is flawed like them. Let me conclude these areas are compromised by their own mind conditioning programs and will never break free from their personal traps. Why download a life form into their version when one can have infinite design in the full light universe? They are amateurs. By the way, the real landlords have not returned to this blue world just yet. They should be very afraid when they do. The soul is the firewall against a mind hacked without a doubt. These covert areas assume too much and know too little. They are attacking off-world races and not just what they thought to be human. Human is a word from a false collective that never existed. There's no such thing. The mind is holographic, multidimensional, and beyond what these covert intelligence areas can comprehend. It is naturally attuned to universal harmonics, which are based on an intelligent energy from a sentient universe. These covert areas miss significant keys in order to understand how the multiversal mind actually works. It is beyond their range of thinking and the scale of their frequencies of control, which is their weakness in the scheme of things. The holographic mind knows how to reboot and reset using the universal blueprint of the celestial DNA overtones. This cannot be cloned or copied by covert areas. This is the true firewall beyond the tortuous avenues these areas misuse their so-called technology in. If it was not for a true telepath to begin with, they would not be able to synthesize telepathy in any form. Basically, their technology is a poor man's version and an imitation of one's true celestial design and life internal merged with the full light universal collective. All illnesses are created by frequency, and all cures are created by frequency. The door swings both ways. There is always an ebb and flow, which means if it or they can attack us, we can deflect and counter them by a more powerful means. The cure is within the oscillating cells and atoms of the divine blueprint in one's atomic structure, zero-point energy, and photon transmissions. I am also a firm believer in radionic transmissions, which I feel is able to broadcast remote-controlled electromagnetic field attacks and pollutants or mind hacks. I have used this technology in the past and have had great success in noticing my health improve from any dirty electricity as well as remote broadcasts. Rife machines and Tesla coil transmissions are a great way to detox a subject on a cellular level, yet will not remove the neural brain link communications. It will, however, fortify the body and raise the vibratory rate to a level where the communication system is more challenged, and after a while will create a warp and hole in the transmission of attack. We basically wear them down by a broadcast, the same way they try to wear their target down, the only difference being we do not waste time with a dialogue. We just broadcast it out through frequency transmissions. This will cut out any entanglement between hive minds and handlers. Everything is vibration and light harmonic. It is a universal gift. The cells know how to harmonize with upper dimensional grid works and always have. They are in resonance with the universe and always will be. No psychotronic war game can change that. One's true template is anchored in the full light universe. There are two Akashics, the one written by mankind based on a false collective and database and entities, and the full light universe, which is based on cellular and celestial heritage and DNA, which goes beyond the mankind's petri dish of observation room. Once again, I would like to cover a few little solutions here. The main reason I'm alive today is because I remained strong, took the helm, did the research, and recoded and rewrote the communication system with my telepathic mind. Simply stated, I rewrote the program as a meta-programmer. Covert assault programs can be extremely damaging on all levels of a target's body, mind, and soul. This is the most lethal of all covert weapons. It can create life or take it away. It is mankind's virtual God toy and God helmet. The fact of the matter is the majority of mainstream cannot grasp this technology exists, let alone how it is being deployed and used. Disinformation is everywhere, even in alternative media. I have seen it, and it's disgusting. And the global governments will never expose something which they are benefiting from. Educating those who are willing to learn is critical. Those who are targeted either meet with an untimely death or become so dysfunctional by the psychotronic programs they lose their internal compass and reside in altars created by their handlers the whole time, thinking they are in control. This is something which needs to be nulled out, so the host allows more of his or her own higher self-design and personality to integrate in. This takes mental discipline on behalf of the subject at hand. If one becomes a target, one has to remain as a sacred witness to the covert design and learn how to shadow one's own behavior and self. The target needs to learn how to stalk oneself. The target should observe the programs running and do not associate them with you, as I can guarantee they are not. They are programs loaded with virtual scenes, false realities, sensations, memories, and a handler's special effects. This is where the rabbit hole is formed and how a target gets sucked into a permanent vacuum of false realities. We are multidimensional beings, and with this design comes a unique celestial machine. A celestial machine the Covert Underground love to map and interface for experimentation and for cataloging in their underground databases. What people must realize is all life is frequency with a unique vibrational signature and harmonic. Each DNA template has a unique vibrational signature and frequency. Everything associated with verbal communication right down to emotional response and feeling is a program which can be mapped and interfaced onto a communication system underground to be used as a weapon against the target via handler feedback. I was well fortified before they plugged me into their communication system back in 2004, which gave me the advantage. I was able to navigate as a spy bird to some degree and see the illusions for what they were. Nonetheless, I was tortured for not complying with their version of a false reality by psychotronic weapons remotely, yet I kept pushing through and ascending out of it. These tactical assault projects are an embarrassment to this country and the world. When I think of how many lives have been destroyed at the hands of this project, or these types of projects, it is truly staggering and simply stated an inexcusable crime of war. Technology is only as wise as those using it. Currently, these thugs and monsters in the machine's false reality matrix are misusing technology at its worst. And let me also say, or worst rather, it is not the machine that's the problem, it's the misuse of technology. Machines are great. Synthetic telepathy, there's nothing wrong with that. It is the people misusing the technology to drive a target to do something drastic and basically mind control. It's completely mind control. Now we can deflect these assaults and we'll create a program to repair what damage has been done. Unfortunately, many lives have been taken. The last thing anyone wants to see is another statistic at the hands of covert assault technology. I will caution, anyone who thinks you can repair a broken target through a psychological session or assessment is in for a huge surprise. You will only be feeding the illusions and not dealing with the cause itself, which is technology and the misuse of. Words will become meaningless and will be a bleed-through effect of altar after altar, playing with the psychologist's mind during the session. I call these projects electronic possession to some degree, filled with tricksters and mind games, feeding off the belief system of the target. These projects must be treated the way they were created, by machine interface, frequency modulation, and transmissions. Once again, Tesla coils, photon sound beams, radionics, rife are all useful tools in the redirection and subtle broadcasting of the attack. Knowing oneself is also key in repairing the holographic grid in mind. Set your boundaries up and do not take responsibility for other people's stuff. This includes psychotronic harassment. And once again, realize that everybody on this planet is being controlled. There's some sort of mind control, whether it's subliminal, it doesn't matter. I mean, there's always a form of mind control going on the planet. What you need to realize, this is an extra tool for you. It is information based on what I went through as a test pilot with covert technology and synthetic telepathy. And it was a very dark corridor and a very dark passage in my life, which lasted a very long time. It took my life away, it zeroed it out, and I had to basically redesign my life again, which is not an easy thing to do at my age right now. I don't have any animosity towards my handler. I don't have any animosity towards the people who initiated this assault. I feel like they were being programmed as well to some degree. However, I felt really guided to make sure that I presented the data accordingly, because I have broken down the technology better than anyone has ever broken this technology down. Reason being is I'm a true test pilot for the communication system, and a lot of the people out there you'll see at these summits or at these conventions where they come out and say they're super soldiers or this and that, they're not test pilots like I was. They do not have the experience I do, which is one of the reasons I put this information out. So I hope that you appreciate this data. Once again, this was done by me. I presented this data. This is copywritten by me. This is my information. And I presented this data at the Super Soldier Summit 2 back in May of 2013 in Nevada, in Henderson, Nevada, as an expert presenter. So if you are interested in this material, if you're interested in any more of this information, I have books out. Check out my website, Night Shadow Anomaly Detectives. I have a radio show. And I will tell you also, at the time I introduced this information, I realized that the masses are just not capable of comprehending this data, and it's almost a disservice sometimes to disclose information so technical to people that are so not awake. And that goes for people in the community of alternative media as well, because let me tell you, they're not all 100% accepting of anything, and I'm fortunate for them because they're not the test pilots I am. So I have the correct data, and I will not negotiate this technology. I understand it very, very well. But I will tell you, be careful of who you work with out there. If you are a subject, if you have been targeted, don't just go to any healer who thinks they can clear your energy field. Use the technology, work with technology first. Everything else is a program. And people can play mind games, and you don't want to get wrapped up in that. Okay, well, that's about it. Today is November 5th in 2013. I just wanted to make sure I have this out there for you guys so everyone can appreciate the information. Hopefully it'll process for them and they'll be able to understand some of this technology a little bit better. I'm hearing a lot of people out there talking about mind control and scalar weapons and this and that, and they don't know what the hell they're talking about. So one of the reasons I'm doing this is because I'm fed up listening to people who don't know what they're talking about. And the reason they don't know, and like I said before, is because they are not test pilots for the technology I am. Okay? All right. Well, thank you for listening, and may you have a happy life without any interference from false realities or matrices.